Welcome everyone. My name is Ruth Samalo and I'm one of the feature programmers for Doc NYC, and it's my great pleasure today to invite you to the Q&A for Self-Portrait. And we have with us Margreth Olin, one of the 3 directors and producers for the film. Hello, welcome Margreth, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you. I'm in New York. Where are you these days?
I'm in Oslo, yeah.
Wonderful. So this is such a special film, and I'm so glad that we could show it. Thank you for sharing it with us. It's a very delicate, very profound, very moving, and at the same time disturbing and poetic. You've struck an incredible balance of like ethics and poetics, and all the decisions that I think have gone into making this documentary. Maybe a very important one. So tell us a little bit about, you make this huge, important effort of presenting Lene Marie as a photographer, as an artist foremost, and as a human being rather than a person with an illness. And that's present even from like the very first scene of the film. So tell us a little bit about how did this project came about? When did you meet Lene Marie? And how, like, what were the framing conversations for making this work?
Yes, the project started with Espen Wallin. He's a photographer, and he met Lene. They became friends, and he asked her if he could join her when she went to Greece, because she really loved going to Greece, to Chios and Lesbos, meeting old people and refugees and taking their portraits. And Espen started to work with Lene, but he's not like a very experienced director. So at one point he came to me. I've been doing documentaries on social political issues for 22 years now. And he came to me and he needed both a producer and director, and I came on board. And then I met Lene, and I saw her work, her pictures, and it was like, yeah, they went right into me. I started to cry, and she had this underweight, suffering from anorexia for 22 years, since the age of 10. And I saw her pictures of her own body, the rawness, the strength, but also the tenderness. And I saw a great poet, but also this very big will to really want to do something with her work, change things, for us to understand more about this illness. And when I met Lene, I was sure we can make a film for the big screen. So I told Espen, yeah, I'm in. And then I met her parents, because it was important for me that they were on board as well, because she has been living at home with her mother all her life, and her mother being there for her. And that was a important part of the movie. But as you said, you have the ethics on the top of your desk while you're working with a subject like this. And it was very important for me that that we making this film should not interfere or be in the way for her treatment, if she went into treatment, and that we had like clear agreements on what we were shooting and what we were not filming. And I of course spoke to her psychiatrist and doctors, and yeah, it's a big and huge and very close encounter and work with everyone involved, and of course with Lene. But I never doubt that her as an artist, and us trying to make the audience meet her and her art and the face and the person behind the illness. Because even though when you meet her, she appears and she's so skinny, but when you start to talk to her, she's there, like you see behind the illness, and you meet, it's a meeting soul to soul. And at one point I asked a younger director that I have been working with, I have been producing her films, Katja Högset, and she came on board as well, because she's the same age as Lena, and I am more the age of her mother. So it was good that we were three also to discuss and have different relationship with Lena, because I knew that for the next years, traveling with Lena in her life and the illness she was facing, that there would be a lot of questions that we had to sort out, and yeah, but every time together with her and her parents, of course.
Did you think, because oftentimes in the films she verbalizes her understanding that photography is actually not only a therapy for her, but like a light, like a hope, and the fact that she herself takes photographs to have this encounter with the other person, to look at the camera, to meet their gaze, as she says, and to have those two souls connecting. But also, I think she mentions, so that we don't forget. Do you think that that the camera and the three of you as a team working with her became a little bit of a support system, in one hand to help her in the feeling of loneliness that she expresses throughout the film several times, and in another hand, also as people that believed in her as an artist and were there along the way? Do you think that there is some resonance to that?
Yes, I think that both with Espen and me and Katja, she really felt that we saw her and what she was trying to do. She told me about this leper hospital in Greece, in Chios. She came there and it was closed, and she's walking through the empty rooms, thinking about the patients that lived there a long time ago, because they were like closed and outside of the society, and no one wanted to have anything to do with them. The same way she might feel that she's carrying a lot of shame, you know, and she has been hiding behind her mother since the age of 10. But being recognized for being an artist and a poet and a storyteller, because she is in her work, I think that she didn't feel that lonely. Yeah, you're right. And when we spoke in front of the camera or on the phone, or we just met, we had this long conversation about art and about light, about composition, about how to really want to share and tell something and to get that over to an audience. And how do you work, Margreth? How do you think? And she sent me all this work and pictures that she made, and wanted to discuss them with me all the time. So yeah, of course we grew very close. Yeah.
And were you following her? Like, how long was this project overall? How long were you in relationship with her, following her life and her work? And sometimes I really like that you do that too. Like, she speaks directly to the camera. So sometimes like we have the sense as audience members that she's speaking with us, because while she talks to you, she's looking straight at the lens in this beautiful portrait. and also sometimes it feels like she's on her own and she has a camera rolling besides her bed and she's like doing more confessional talking. So tell us a little bit about how did you devise the different stages, and like if she was really feeling down, were you there or were you giving her a camera to shoot? How did that work out?
Yeah. No, when Aspen started, when she's younger and she's not that thin and she looks healthier and she's working, and he started doing this when she's confessing to the camera, like she's talking to you and talking directly to the audience. And when I saw the first material that he had shot, I really liked that kind of style. So that was something that we continued doing when I came on board. But we were filming. I was in it for 3 years. Lene Marie, she died October last year. And she was hospitalized by force at one point for 1 year. But we attended the hospital and stayed there with her. But of course, it was important that at times that I went to visit her, but my camera was outside. That it is a balance, you know. It was never that she didn't want us to film, but sometimes when you're that close to a person, something is private. It's just between her and me, like the first conversations that we had about death, when I realized and knew that she was going to die. And she was 33, and it's really hard to follow someone facing that, because I think that why Lene also became ill is that she really loved life, you know, and she had this sensibility that everything that she met and every person that she met made like a huge footprint in her, that she wasn't able to select. She didn't have the, I don't know if you say that in English,
The
but
filter.
the filter, yes, yeah. So it was, yeah, I think that as a director, that my one of the tasks that I've been given, or what I try to do, is that when I ask you to see a film like this, you have to feel the relationship that the film is built on. That I have the respect for her, what kind of relationship we have, that she trusts us, so that you are held by the hand and not afraid to go into this, because it's darkness, it's anxiety, but it is also light and hope and love and great art and joy, everything, humor. But we went to dark places, and sometimes the camera was there and sometimes not. But when she's lying in her bed and I ask her if she has given up hope, if you remember that sequence,
Yes.
and she says, yes, I believe so, I have. But also after that, she's coming back, you know, and she's getting out of the hospital. She's starting to do work as a photographer again, but then we know the ending.
Do you think,
yeah.
do you think that was somehow because of the long time that she had the illness, and how that had affected her body in many different ways, like from her vision to, you know, her general health? but it feels like there is a moment where she has the car crash accident and she really has like a lot of pain in her neck and that really brings her down, because that doesn't allow her to continue with photography at a moment where everything was like really moving forward for her. And we get a sense watching the film that perhaps if this didn't happen, maybe she could have, get better through this sense of like, her photography going more places and being more recognized, and she maybe professionalizing, her work as a photographer. Do you think that that's the case, or do you think that that it was such a difficult illness in such a strong, grave way that sooner or later something was going to happen?
Mm. Yeah, I think so. I think sooner or later. When I got to know her and over a couple of years saw her that much, I kind of knew it that at one day she's going to die from this. But no one knew when. But when she had this car crash, it was one more thing. It became too much for her to carry. Like, but I think that she had been so ill for so many years that it was quite strange that she was still alive,
Mm-hmm.
So, and she was fighting so hard to be recognized, to be seen as Lena Maria, the way that she felt the person behind the mask or the body. And when that happened and the car crash came, I think that she also fell into, she was still fighting every day as long as she lived. But at one point she knew that she had exhibition and a lot of people knew about her work and the film was almost finished. She managed to see it completely finished before she died, and she loved the film. That she could, like, she was afraid to die, but she also knew, and she made me promise that the film should be released the 17th of January this year as we had planned, in October, just before she died, So maybe it's like, when old people, when they...
Like your last wish?
Yeah, last wish, but also that one day you might think that it's okay, I can let go, you've had your life. And I really felt that she felt appreciated and seen, so she could let go.
Well, this is such a beautiful testament to this extraordinary human being. And it's a great film about grief, which I think is really important that we talked about. And it's a very important film about a very misunderstood and stigmatized illness. And I think she's a great advocate. She's incredibly eloquent about like her actual rights as a person that is ill, the right to choose the kind of care that she needs. So thank you so very much, Margreth, for I'm emotional now, for making this film.
Yeah, thank you for screening the film, and it will be the premiere in the States, so we're so happy about it, and hopefully it will, be seen many places. Thank you.
Definitely will be. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.